It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live here from the 21st floor of the Alico building in Central Texas, and we have got an action-packed show. It's a big day around the sports world. Of course, MLK Day, first and foremost, most importantly. And, you know, with the MLK Day, I know the Baylor women's basketball team has a game today at 2 p.m. Against UCLA from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And all over the NBA, there'll be games. Of course, tonight, the culmination of a college football season takes place, and that will be Ohio State and Notre Dame. We've got Nicole Sheeran back today, live from Columbus, giving us a breakdown. Brian Driscoll is going to be live with us once again. Of course, you remember Brian from irishbreakdown.com. He is going to join us. He's boots on the ground in Atlanta. A lot to get to. Then Roy Ogletree is going to come through on the back end, talk to us a little bit about Baylor basketball and some of the recruiting that's going on with football, and then we'll talk some movies too, because I saw an erotic thriller over the weekend. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the Eagles' victory over the Rams either. I'm talking about Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman, which was, we'll get to it if we get to it, but it's certainly no way to lead the show. After this amazing weekend of NFL football, I can tell you I watched every game, but I had a dinner engagement then on Saturday night, which was kind of like makes you sort of Jones, because you're like having fun and you're connecting at dinner, but then also you're like, what's going on with the Commanders and the Lions? And then you see like, oh my gosh, this game is like unbelievable. Back and forth. And then of course that game was preceded by the Texans and the Chiefs. And that's where I want to start. With the Chiefs and the officials and a possible favoritism. Now, I have big time issue with this because all over, you look online, and I feel like fans we should be more informed than we used to be, but we're really not. And if you are the type of fan base or the type of person, right, that is pointing at officials or pointing at your boss, or pointing at the long arm of the law, and that you're saying it's their fault. I think you have a problem. I do. And I think that in the overall body of work of the football game on Saturday afternoon, where the Chiefs beat the Texans didn't play. They didn't play well enough to win the game. They played well, and they had moments, and there were certainly a couple calls that sucked, but you cannot say, okay, this is why we're not advancing to the AFC Championship game. It's not how it works. And, the one thing was on one of the late hits, Aikman got I think Troy Aikman is by far, as we see some of the big plays here that helped the Chiefs to victory. I think Troy Aikman is my favorite analyst by far, because he takes the job very seriously. He takes the game very seriously. And boy, he gets upset. Like, he has that edge. Like, if you watch Tom Brady yesterday or Saturday, which I just said that I didn't have a big opportunity to watch him, but I watched him most of the season. And Collinsworth's great. If you watch Collinsworth and Romo too as well, but if you watch Collinsworth, you watch Romo, those guys bring a brand of experience along with Troy Aikman that I feel like someone like Tom Brady just doesn't have the opportunity to have yet. It's like everything in life, right? Like repetitions. And I think when you see the repetitions that guys like Collinsworth and Aikman and Romo have gotten over the course of their careers in the analyst role, there's something there that you can't bake that in, or you can't put that in a microwave. Like, they have an innate ability to just break down a football game, and Troy Aikman did a terrific job of doing that, especially after that one late hit. I think it was in the fourth quarter, which would have been, the Chiefs had opportunities to extend drives. And Mahomes is now, he furthers the narrative by what he does with like the James Harden stuff. Well, if you saw the one time he was going out of bounds, and he sort of like flopped almost when he had a guy on his heels. But they were also amazed. This is the late hit right here. Scotty, what were your thoughts? Let's bring in Scotty Swingler here.
Yeah.
So that play right there extended the drive, and that was the one where he flops.
Yeah.
How about this? Ready?
Yeah.
That's like a soccer player.
Well, and I was going to bring soccer into this, Pete, because
Yeah.
I am a soccer fan. And here's the deal. In basketball, we encourage athletes to get into the lane and try to draw a foul.
Yeah.
Don't flop, don't be a loser, but like draw contact, put up a shot, and get to the free throw line, right? In soccer, it is considered great gamesmanship when you can force a whistle. Like, that is part of how you continue to possess the ball for your team. So for I don't put any of this on Mahomes. If he's going to take advantage of the way they officiate this thing, that's on the NFL. And furthermore, I completely agree with what you said earlier. If you're a Houston Texans fan today, and you want to pin the blame of this game squarely on the referees, you're missing a lot of what happened in that football game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a bigger like life thing. I mean, like if you're really like blaming blaming it on the officials, and I think there's an accountability there that you got to have as a fan. And I'm not saying to go inward or to attack your team, but the reason the Chiefs won was not because of the officials. I do think there is a little, when you get that good, now you're talking Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. Yeah, like you do get favored a little bit, but there's a familiarity that breeds that favoritism. And it's a benefit of the doubt that you start to get that is earned over time. There's a connection, a relationship with officials. There's a performance that you have shown. There is a test of time that you have obviously proven your ability to hang on to and to withstand. So there's something there that I think is almost earned. Like, or not, I don't even want to use rite of passage, but when an official is sitting there with his hand on the flag, and he sees, and that's Patrick Mahomes, right? And it's not Kenny Pickett. Like the odds are that flag is probably going to come out more with Patrick Mahomes than with Kenny Pickett. And I appreciate that Troy Aikman really got pissed off. One thing, and I never go let's just make this clear. Joe Buck is the greatest. Troy Aikman is amazing. I was a little surprised that they didn't go a little more into, and maybe this is their genius, but when the player shoved the special teams coordinator, I was surprised they didn't make a bigger deal out of that, but maybe that was smart because I haven't heard much about it on the back end. And a lot of times, I said this during football season earlier in the season, especially when some of the stuff was going on with the Cowboys and, on the sideline, CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. That stuff happens more often than not. Now, a player shoving a coach like that, that was a little on the edge, but it looks as though that was something that was sorted out internally on the back end. And I haven't heard too much about that, which actually makes me feel pretty good. But in the moment, I was a little surprised they didn't make a bigger deal about that moment. But were you surprised too, Scotty?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, playoff football.
So you're kind of like, that's what happens. Yeah, I agree. But so then we moved to Sunday. The Eagles, I was frustrated when they got away from the passing game, not to break down the game like a coach, but I just felt like you could give the ball to Saquon Barkley all game long, and I think you would have just beaten the will and the fight out of the Rams. And it was a little frustrating to see the Eagles, because that's what you wanted to see all game long, right? I mean, this was Saquon early in the game for 62 yards. He had another 178 in the fourth quarter. It finishes with 205 yards. The Eagles' offensive line was just bigger than the Rams' defensive line, and I think that sometimes, Kellen Moore is not the culprit, right? But you have such a bag of tricks offensively. You have so many things you want to use and so many things you want to implement to keep the defense honest. But when the snow coming down, you see right here, this was a late turnover for the Eagles that really I thought was going to salt the game away, but the game was not solidified till the very, very end. Here's that 78-yarder from Saquon. I felt like sometimes we're almost a little too innovative. Offensive coaches are, head coaches are. And I believe like sometimes the 3 yards in a cloud of dust or 78 yards with the poof behind you is the way to go. Either way, the Eagles ended up winning the game. I was very nervous down the stretch when the Rams were coming back because you saw the hurry-up offense, which I was like, Collinsworth, I was surprised. Again, now I'm handicapping the analyst, but like he was like, man, they should have gone hurry up all game long. Look at this. I'm like, dude, this is so typical for every team that trails. you get in somewhat of a prevent defense, or you keep the middle of the field open. Late in the game, those teams are always able to move the ball a little bit. It was like, they should have done hurry up all game. I can't believe this. This is they're coming through the back door now, the Rams. And I was like a little kid fan when the Rams got the ball back, and Collinsworth's like, and now they can win the game. And I was like, shut up, but the reality was they could have won the game. They almost won it. Luckily, they did not. Talking about the Rams, lucky for me. So the Eagles moved forward, and then we were left with an amazing game on Sunday night. And Scotty, I know you want to cash in on a prediction that you made, and you made it. You made it.
Well, I made it. I was a little overconfident. I did say the Bills would win by 2, but I said 2 touchdowns instead of 2 points. Which, by the way, early in that game, I felt really good about that prediction because the Bills came out just But yeah. When you're a dog at home as the higher seed in the playoffs, you had a better regular season, and at worst, your quarterback is just as good as the other guy. Like I just struggled to see that happening. But here's where I want to cash in, Pete. I just want to show my cards, right? Because I am a massive Baylor fan first and foremost before anything else. And the main thing I predicted last week was I said interception, but I said Terrell Bernard is going to force an interception late in the game to win this thing for the Bills. Now, he didn't force the interception, but he, of course, had the forced fumble, which was one of 2 really horrific moments for Mark Andrews in this game. But here's what I love about this, Pete. Do you remember what happened last year to the Buffalo Bills?
Tell me.
In the wild card round, Terrell Bernard re-aggravated an injury he struggled with late in the season, and he wasn't able to play the next week when they lost and they bowed out. So the fact that he not only got to play in this game and then make, I would argue, the biggest play of the football game to win it for his team. You see his teammates carrying him off here as they celebrate. That was just huge for me as a Baylor guy.
Well, but you predicted it.
Yeah, well, because if you watch him,
you sat here on Friday.
Yeah,
and you said that Terrell Bernard was going to make the play. He was going to be the reason that the Bills won.
Part of that's I'm a homer and that's fandom, but part of that too is I said it Friday. He beat the Chiefs in the regular season, picking off Patrick Mahomes as they were driving to win the football game.
Yeah,
Terrell Bernard got that interception. If you watched him play at Baylor, the thing about Terrell Bernard, he's not overly big. Like he doesn't strike you as a very physical kind of linebacker, but the dude makes plays on the football constantly. Yeah. That's why that 21 Baylor defense with him and Jalen Petrie was so dynamic. Those guys just get to the football. So as soon as he punched it out, I knew it was him. I was dancing around the living room, screaming. I was so pumped.
I got to give you credit. You made the call. It's very rare.
Can I tell you another theory I have about this football game? Yeah. I mentioned this to you, but I didn't tell you what I was going to show you.
Yeah. So Mark Andrews,
yeah,
who, by the way, they did a nice job illustrating the broadcast. 361 times he has connected with Lamar Jackson. That was a 2-point conversion that he dropped. Oh, I felt my heart broke for this dude.
I mean,
this was after, because he was the guy who Bernard caused the fumble on. He took the football away from this dude.
And he's a borderline Hall of Fame player. Like he has had such a good career.
Yeah.
All around good guy, according to our reports. I feel horrible for him. I was not upset the Bills won, though.
So why do you think he was cursed?
I'll show you. Please. I'll show you.
You're going to show me now?
Pete, you're not going to believe this is real. I triple checked that this is real. Do you know what the Ravens tweeted prior to the football game?
What? No,
I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody right now. This is a real tweet from the Baltimore Ravens prior to the game. A little snow doesn't bother Mark Andrews.
Oh, no.
Pete, the Ravens did this to themselves. I don't even believe hardcore and sports curses, but I'm going to put that on the screen again. They did this to them. They tweeted this. And you can check 3:43 p.m. They tweeted this prior to kickoff.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna have a little fun with you.
Let's do it
and try to imagine how that would actually come into play as a reality. Now, Mark Andrews goes back into the locker room, or somehow catches word or sees that was posted. Right? Because these guys go back in the locker room, they get on their phones. They get on their phones at halftime. They, like we saw earlier this year. Who was it? Came after Mike Leslie, Trayvon Diggs. right? Like, so it's like they have access to social media. Literally, it's not like they leave their phones at home or they put in the locker room and it's on ice all game long. What's going on here? Is it time to restart? Well, we're going to wait an hour, right? Our computer here is giving us a little.
We're still on, so you're still.
We're still on. We're still
I'll
good.
check during the break.
Okay, so maybe Andrews sees that. Maybe it gets into his head a little bit. Maybe he's like, well, now I better play well. I think you're wrong. I think that the curse was Terrell Bernard, and I think that no, seriously, that was the curse. I think that the moment that Terrell Bernard ripped that ball out of his hands, right, in the snow, it becomes a head game for him. And as much as I don't like how broadcasts do this, I do give respect to television on sports or sports on television. Forever, they've done such a tremendous job of making it theater. They kept showing Mark Andrews. They kept showing Terrell Bernard on the sidelines. Like, it was clear that Andrews. And so I was like, man, I was watching with Christy. She was like, I wish they would stop showing this poor guy, you know? And then he makes a big catch in the drive where they're trying to come back. So I was like, okay, maybe he's off the schneid. But then he drops a 2-point conversion. Terrell Bernard got in his head, not the Ravens social media. He was never the same after that fumble.
Or the fumble was also caused by the tweet, which cursed the Ravens. I'm going to give one more thought on that game, and then we've got guests today, so we don't need to go on for too long. But I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I blame that loss on the Ravens. Who's their OC?
Oh, God, I forgot.
So I think they botched both 2-point conversions because the first one they tried to pass after they had just had like 5 consecutive 5+ yard runs to get to the end zone. The Bills showed no ability to stop them running up the middle. They try a pass for the 2-point conversion. And that first one, I was like, why did they throw the ball? The second one, I like that play design, roll Lamar out, look for the guy, you know, he can run in. But I told a buddy, I said, if he hands that ball to Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry doesn't make the 2-point conversion, the narrative is, look at what the Bills defense did. They rose up and stopped the best power back in the game from scoring that 2-point. Instead, the narrative now is Mark Andrews sucks.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. We can wrap up with this, that, you know, a lot of times yesterday, I think we all either we thought or we got a text from somebody where we were like, man, like, these guys aren't playing well today, or this guy, you know, like the Rams had a bunch of drops. Andrews, the fumble, the strip, and dropping it in the end zone. Elements were at play. Like it was slick, it was snowy, it was shitty weather.
Anybody who's tried to catch a football in cold weather knows it's way hard. It's way more difficult. So there
was a lot of that at play. All right, we're going to come back with Brian Driscoll, Nicole Sheeran. We're breaking down the national championship game tonight. From Atlanta, it's Notre Dame and Ohio State. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, rolls on after this.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Sports.
Brian Driscoll joining us back again from Irish Breakdown. Nicole and Brian, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having us, Pete.
Look at this. This is big time. I got two big time folks here before the biggest game of the year. Brian, I want to start with you. 1988, Notre Dame beats West Virginia in the Fiesta Bowl. It hasn't quite been the same since. There hasn't been a finish like this, or there has been an opportunity like this before, but Notre Dame obviously has not risen to the occasion. Tonight, what does the Irish have to do to beat Notre Dame?
One quick thing. I still say Notre Dame should have been the national champs in 1993. That's a different conversation for a different day. You know, I mean, really what it comes down to when you get on the stage is you've got to play your game, right? I mean, that's what got you here. It's not like in the past where if you could kind of manage through a weak schedule and be in the top two, you get the BCS game and maybe your team wasn't quite there or whatever the case may be. I mean, you had to earn your way here. You in Ohio State had to earn their way here. And, you know, I've made the case on our show for the last couple of months that when they play their game, the two best teams in college football are Notre Dame and Ohio State in whatever order you want to pick them. And with the exception of one bad day for each team, November 30th for Ohio State, September 7th for Notre Dame, these have been the two most dominant teams all season. So when you get to this stage, it's about playing your game. You know, for Notre Dame, that's about being physical in the trenches. It's about being disciplined on defense. It's about flying to the ball. It's about being disruptive. You're the number one turnover forcing team in the country. You've got to do that in a game like this. That's what got you here. You have dynamic runners. That's what got you here. You got to be able to do that. And then you've got to be opportunistic in the pass game. And that's what Notre Dame has been all year, right? I mean, they've won different ways. They beat Penn State by throwing the ball a lot down the field. They beat Georgia by throwing for 90 yards, right? But there's been certain consistent things in each of those games. That's physicality, forcing turnovers, and just having an elite dominant defense, which the other team they're going to play tonight also has.
Yeah, that's pretty good breakdown. Nicole, I want to switch over to you kind of like from a background perspective with Ohio State. You know, you sat at Ryan Day's house last week with his wife, Nina. You kind of got the vibe on like the internal affairs of the Ohio State football program. I, from, you know, zooming out, feel like Notre Dame might be the team that's playing with house money tonight just because they're the underdog. They might be a little looser. But what's your vibe on Ohio State coming into this game? Are they kind of wound tight? Because every game, and just like Notre Dame, that Ohio State drops, there's been like panic, over the course of the past 2 years. But for Ohio State going into this game, are they loose or are they wound tight? What's your feel?
It's funny you asked that, Pete, because yesterday when I watched Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman stand right there at that national title trophy for the press conference, Ryan Day didn't look at the trophy. He didn't make any expressions. He didn't smile. He did nothing. Like, he was so locked in. And I've covered this coach all season. He is the most locked in I have ever seen this entire year. Players, same sort of thing. When you talk to the guys at media day, sometimes they have some fun. They feel a little loose. Everybody has got one goal on their mind, and it's win that national title, because we've heard it all week. The job's not finished. They've said it about 1 million times because that's the goal for them. And I don't want to say they're uptight, but I want to say that they are so incredibly locked in on the end goal that there is nothing that's going to distract them from that, because they all came back for this moment and they're not going to let it pass them by.
Yeah, Nicole, I think there's something to be said for that too. Like from an experience factor with Ryan Day, being in the Final Four before, being in a championship game before. And that's why, Brian, I want to ask you about Marcus Freeman. I always go back to, like, this is silly, but and it shows my age, but I remember Dan Marino in his first Super Bowl against Joe Montana. And you were like, oh my God, like, the guy threw 48 touchdowns this year. He's the best young quarterback in the world. He'll be back for 4 more Super Bowls, right? Well, he never went back to another Super Bowl again. For Marcus Freeman in his first national title game, he's a young, hot coach. I would think he'll be back so many more times. But tonight, the opportunity is right in front of you. How does he seize the moment tonight? And is he ready for the moment?
It's kind of similar to the question that you asked Nicole, and I feel like there was a lot more opportunity for a team to kind of go into a BCS game nervous and have some jitters, maybe even a 4-team playoff. But with these two teams, they've had to win 3 games against really good opponents to get here. Ohio State had to play in the Rose Bowl, they had to play in the Cotton Bowl, and Notre Dame's had to play in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia, the Orange Bowl against Penn State. I think they've worked all that stuff out. Now it just kind of comes into, hey, guys, we earned our right to be here. And we've got to play Notre Dame football. And I'm sure that's the same exact message that Ryan Day is giving the Ohio State locker room. We're not worried about Notre Dame. We're worried about Ohio State. And that's the message that Marcus Freeman has given all year since that Northern Illinois loss. It's like, I don't care what's on the other sideline. We play our game. We play our football. We do the things that got us here. We're going to win the game. And when you get into this type of stage, that's what the message has to be. If you start getting into that locker room and getting into practice and saying, hey, we've got to do something beyond what else we've done. We got to go outside of our routine. Football players and football coaches are creatures of habit. And when you start saying, well, this game means more, then all of a sudden they start pressing. They start getting outside of what got them here. So it's like, hey, guys, it's another opportunity. And that's been Marcus Freeman's motto all year. One more guaranteed opportunity. And we go play our game. And that's going to be the mantra. And it's not about trying to make this something bigger than it is, because you're not going to be a 4-3 if you're normally a 4-5 just because it's the national title game, right? You're still a 4-5. You've got to go play your game. You've got to do what we're asking you to do. You've got to be one of 11. And that's the message that Marcus Freeman has given this team. And I think that when you get to this stage in the 12-team playoff, there's no more jitters because this stage is too big. I think they've kind of worked all that stuff out.
All right, Nicole, I'm going to let you put your headset on now. Do your best Ryan Day or Chip Kelly impression. What does Ohio State need to do to win this football game offensively? What I mean, again, you've seen the recipe for winning front row for this team all year long. If Ohio State is clutching that trophy at the end of the night, what have they done correctly offensively?
All right, well, if you look at just the postseason, fast start. They have to start fast. Every game that we have watched, whether it's Oregon, Texas, Tennessee, right off of literally the first snap, these guys are launching it downfield, scoring within the first minutes of the game. They have to start fast. Second thing, it's no secret. I mean, Notre Dame has said, and Brian, I know you know this, they said, we're going to play man. We're going to do what we've done all year. And so that, in my eyes, yeah, Jeremiah Smith's probably going to be double covered. But if they want to win this game, they need to know that they have the deepest wide receiver room, and in my eyes, the most talented wide receiver room in the country. They need to know that they need to use all their weapons, whether that's Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate. I mean, the list goes all the way down. Jeremiah Smith may only get 1 touch all game, but it happened against Texas, and they won. Third thing is red zone defense for Ohio State. All season, it has been killer red zone defense. they need to prove why they're the best defense in the country, and they need to contain Riley Leonard because Riley Leonard loves to use his legs. We've seen it all year, and Notre Dame's the kind of team that has found a way to win every single game, and that is credit to them. But if they contain Riley Leonard and make him throw, he's gonna get rattled. They can't give him the space to use his legs, kind of similar to Will Howard. He likes to use his legs too. So I think those three things are key. And lastly, Will Howard has said it all postseason that Chip Kelly's in his bag, and Chip Kelly needs to be in his bag again tonight.
What is I'm telling you, and Chip Kelly obviously doesn't lack confidence, and he will take chances if the opportunity arises. Brian, when you talk about Marcus Freeman and his relationship with Ohio State, is there added pressure for him going into tonight's game? I know you just gave a great breakdown of how you kind of keep the main thing, and you stay in the moment and you don't really change who you are. But just, I was getting caught up. I talked with Nicole about this last week where I was watching some highlights of Marcus Freeman playing for Ohio State. And the guy was just magnificent as far as just being the eye of the storm defensively and such a huge part of the Buckeyes' effort when he was a player there. How does he handle this or manage this emotion tonight, you think?
I think this might be an issue if they hadn't already played twice in his first 2 years. I mean, I think his first game as the head coach at Notre Dame is like the full-time head coach, right? So, I mean, there was the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State after he was just named the head coach. But, I mean, where it was his team, and the whole offseason was in Columbus at Ohio State. And then the Buckeyes came to Notre Dame last year. I think that stuff for him is behind him. I know it's a storyline for the media because we've got 10 days. We've got to talk about something, right? But, I think that stuff has been all in the past as far as his emotional attachment to this game. I think when you get to this stage, it's like, listen, I don't care that that's my alma mater. I mean, we went through all that. I'm always going to love and appreciate my alma mater. I believe his parents still live in Ohio, and he still has great relationships with guys that he coached with, including guys on the staff, including Brian Hartline and obviously James Laurinaitis. But again, this is about this game. It's not about where I played and all that. And I think there's a lot of things that I would say if they hadn't already been through this, then this might be an issue. But Marcus Freeman's been a head coach for 3 years. This is the third time he's going to get to play Ohio State. Once in Columbus, once at Notre Dame, now on a neutral field. I think that part of it for him is gone. That part of let's win one for coach against his alma mater, that's gone. They've been here, done that, right? Now this is about what this team can accomplish and what we are trying to do together as far as his message to his team. I just don't think that's more important to us in the media than I think it is this football team. Just like the Ohio State players aren't going to give a rip that Marcus Freeman played at Ohio State. This is about what our team goals are, and that's going to be the message for these teams.
Nicole, how thirsty is Columbus and the Ohio State Buckeye Nation for this title? How like the emotions around Columbus today? Give us a vibe check.
I mean, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since they've won a national title. November 30th was probably the worst day in the city of Columbus here. Buckeyes hit rock bottom. Like, I have never experienced a game like that with just emotions for the next few weeks in this city after the result of that game. But then all of a sudden, I mean, Nina told me, and we talked about it, Pete, that Ryan had a different look in his eye. The next day that he woke up, he had a different look in his eye. And this team has just been absolutely electric in the postseason. So all of Buckeye Nation, which I have some issues with that because there's some of Buckeye Nation that completely went on the other side of, after November 30th and they lose to that team up north, they're off the train completely and now they're back on, but that's a different story. Columbus is so hungry for a national title. And I think here's the main reason why is because you get attached to some of these guys on this team, like a Jack Sawyer and Emeka Ibuka, JT Tuimoloau, who came back. They could have gone to the draft. They could have been playing in the NFL right now, but they came back for one more year to do just this. How can you not want them to win it all with a story like that? How can you not want a local guy like Jack Sawyer, who's the hometown kid, to take home a national title when he came to Ohio State during Ryan Day's first year as head coach? There's so many stories on this team. Ryan Day has said it, but none of those stories are going to be told unless they win. So now it's up to this team to finish the storybook ending, and all of Columbus has just rallied behind this incredible story that could be finished and told tonight when they raise that trophy.
All right, last question for both of you guys. I'll let you get out of here. Brian Driscoll, your team, I'm not going to say your team. Maybe I can say your team, but the Irish are more than a touchdown underdog tonight. Who do you have? What's your final score prediction?
Well, just so let's be clear, in the last 14 championship games where there has been a 8-point or greater spread, the underdog is 8-6 outright. So I just want to kind of point that out. And the Buckeyes remember this from back in 2006. I'm just messing around, Nicole. Look, I think these are two excellent football teams. I really do, and I think it's really going to come down to which team can impose their will on the other. And for me, I think with Notre Dame, with their offensive line, they finally get their left tackle back. I think his experience, we saw the second half against Penn State, what that line looked like with him in the lineup. Speaking of Charles Jagasaw, they went from rushing 16 yards in the first half to 101 in the second half and just lit up that Penn State defense in the second half of that game, 24 points and 261 yards in just 2 quarters of play against a really good defense. And I think that's going to be what it allows Notre Dame to win this game. I have it being 30-24. I do think there's going to be a little bit more points than we think because I think both of these defenses are going to give them their offenses opportunities to get points on shorter fields. I think that's what happens sometimes when you have two great defenses is, they actually then kind of put themselves in situations to get more points. I think Notre Dame's physicality is going to be carried. I'm not one of those Ohio State is soft people. It's just style of play. Notre Dame's style of play is geared more towards physicality on both sides of the ball. And Ohio State's is not, it's not, again, I'm not one of those, they're soft people, but you break down their run game, you break down how they play. They're not a team that's built on just power football the way that Notre Dame is. And I think that's going to be the thing that carries the day as long as Notre Dame can continue to do what got them here, which is dominate the turnover battle. If they can win in the trenches and dominate the turnover battle, that's how you negate that perceived advantage on the perimeter. And I think that's what Notre Dame's going to have to do to win, and that's what my prediction is they will do to win 30-24. But I think this is going to be a great 4-quarter football game.
All right, Nicole Sheeran, you got a crystal ball over there you can look in and tell me what you think?
Well, Brian, my score's a little different than you. I actually think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game for the Irish just because Ohio State's defense has proven to me time and time and time again that they are absolutely elite. I think it's going to be 24-7 Ohio State. I know. It's what I think.
It's all right. I'm used to it. I've been dealing with Ohio State people all week who think Notre Dame just lucked their way into the national title game.
No, and I don't think that.
Even though they scored more points against Penn State than Ohio State did, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I could be proven way wrong, but I just feel like the defense that I have seen from Ohio State, more specifically this postseason, has really impressed me. And especially the fact that this defense is so veteran with a lot of those guys, it's going to be their last game in the scarlet and gray. I see a world where they are so juiced up to just have them not find the end zone that they are going to play their best defensive football that I think we've ever seen. So I think it's going to be 24-7. And I agree with you, Brian, that turnovers are going to be a big thing because we've seen Will Howard get shaken up in the pocket. And you need to protect the football. And if Will Howard gets shaken up like that, it could cause some problems, and that can quickly change the course of the game. But if this offense gets in a rhythm, it could be dangerous. So I think 24-7 is my final score.
Yeah, that I agree with.
I mean, look, Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith have nothing on you two. That's all. That's all I'll say.
What? I think this has been a very pleasant conversation. My response wasn't to her. I literally just had, I even had an Ohio State fan jump in my comments yesterday and say, Ohio State's played a mobile guy more mobile than Riley Leonard. I'm like, who? He's like, Curtis Rourke. I'm like, okay, I've heard it all now. I've literally heard it all. You know what I mean? Come on now.
Brian Driscoll, Irish Breakdown. Nicole, thank you so much. You can check her out, Channel 10 in Columbus. We'll have all your information in the show notes when we put this one up and share with people. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedules on such a busy day for you two. This was very exciting for me. I was looking forward to it, and I can't wait for the game tonight. So thanks for getting us primed and ready.
Thanks for having us, Pete.
All right. We'll see those two later. We will see you on the other side of the break. We got Royden Ogletree in studio. The Pete Sousa Show, powered by the Rogue Media Network, is back after this.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Download Blogify now in the App Store. Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today.
Sports.
From Livingston, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Royden Ogletree. He says if you drive by Livingston and you blink, you could miss it.
Yeah, if you like sneeze or have a cough in the middle of the car or whatever, oh, there it went. That's fun.
I got a little bit of a bone to pick with you, Royden.
About what?
So I have this is like, don't tweet about this, anybody.
Don't put it in the newspaper.
In this room, yeah. But I'll tell you if this, because people that listen to this later on, it'll be already news by then. But so the Houston game that I'm supposed to call tomorrow night has been moved to Wednesday because of the weather,
right? Which
blows the ESPN broadcast out of the water now.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't do the game. The game will go back to the school, but it's because of the weather. What the hell's going on there? What are you guys doing?
If it even threatens snow, the entirety of the Houston area tends to shut down.
That's pretty. I mean,
North Texas is a little bit more prepared for it, and actually, I think we're a little bit more prepared. But it never snowed when I was in growing up. It snowed maybe twice, I think, and everybody was like, they canceled school for like 3 days. They didn't know what to do with it. In Houston, it's even worse because it's like people forget how to drive, and there's 1.5 million people on the roads at any given time. So we just ill prepared, man. It's like it's an anomaly that we are not prepared for.
So that game,
we're more prepared for hurricanes than we are for. I swear.
Yeah,
I swear.
Yeah, that would actually make a little sense. So the Texans yesterday, were you depressed after Saturday?
You know what was funny is that I knew that like I shouldn't get my hopes up. There was a less than 0% chance that the Texans were ever going to win that game.
Less than 0%.
Like it just there was no world in which the NFL was going to allow the Texans to ever win that game, or that the Texans were ever going to win that game, regardless of what was going to go on with under the table betting. But the idea. The Texans just have been ill prepared for like good teams all year.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, they can't score in the red zone. They can't. They settle for field goals. And look, the calls notwithstanding, they left 35-year-old Travis Kelce open over the middle of the field the entire time. Often for like 7 catches for the best game he's had all year. He's been like the number, if you just go by like fantasy stats or whatever, he's been like the 15th best tight end in the league all year. Anyway, I had told myself, you're not going to don't give yourself hope. Don't give yourself hope. And then it was like an 8-point game or whatever it was. Fairbairn misses those kicks. But my wife, I'd been so stressed for like 2 weeks because of work that she had the foresight to like schedule a massage that somehow ended up in the back half of that game when I would have been losing my mind when Patrick Mahomes got another call for roughing the passer when he didn't slide in time.
What did you think of that? I mean, honestly, I want to ask you this because you're a very knowledgeable sports guy. I mean, obviously, you're the sports director over at KWTX. You're the man. All right. So, but you're grounded. As far as I know, I'm about to find out just how grounded you are. So hold on. I'm about to find out just how grounded you are. Do you think the officials blew that game for the Texans?
Not really. I think the Texans kind of blew the game for the Texans. I think what people are really I in the moment I was frustrated, but like with that and stuff like that too. But he's gotten that call since they've won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's won 3 total, but Super Bowl winning quarterbacks get that thing. Does he flop a little bit now more than I think that he used to, Mahomes? Yeah, I think so too. I think I don't think the refs blew it. I think what people are frustrated with in general with the Chiefs or with dynasties in general, like it goes back to the Patriots, it goes back to the Cowboys. People have been frustrated for millennia when big teams get calls, but like it's the timing of some of the plays, some of the flags that I think people are more upset about, or at least I am.
Yeah,
where it's like that first one on Will Anderson, he overthrows Travis Kelce down the field, and they kind of bail him out with that roughing the passer call. So they go down and they continue to, like, I think they add points on that drive.
Yes.
That's what's a little frustrating. Now, if you do look at it, the Texans had like 8 penalties, and like the next closest team in the divisional round, I think, had 4 penalties. Yeah. Now that may due to the sloppiness of what the Texans are, and they probably were the worst team that was still in the divisional round.
Yeah.
To my mind. And they've been sloppy all year. They're like one of the most penalized teams all year. I don't think the refs blew it. I think there's a bunch of stuff that they could have done better, like score touchdowns. That would be good. Don't rely on your kicker that is notoriously bad in big games to kick field goals in 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, that was rough.
That like score more than 14 points if you want to beat the Chiefs. That's literally all, like, because the Chiefs can't score more than 25, it seems like, this year. It seems stupid. Score more points. Like it's the whole
simple
game. Pretty simple game.
All right, so we move on to more good news. Baylor,
yay!
Baylor basketball. If the team, I mean, you're ranked 25th in the country.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, today that'll obviously change. They are now 11-7, closer to 500 than I ever really could have thought. And the thud was heard all around the college basketball nation yesterday when they lose to TCU, who is not a very good basketball team.
Yeah.
Or if they are, maybe they're getting better. Again, we'll see. But is this a loss where the Baylor basketball team is able to kind of like, as a gut check time, okay, now it's like this is the worst it gets and we go up from here? Or is this who they are?
Well, it'd be interesting to see because it's like, do they have enough like healthy scholarship players?
Yeah.
Now, Jeremy Roach went out with they haven't said, well, that I'm assuming maybe another. It looked like a concussion. I don't want to speculate on any of that. Yeah. He had already been concussed earlier in the year, and they were having to help him off the floor with a couple players into the locker room. It looked like he took a knee to the side of the head the other night, or last night against TCU. So I don't want to assume anything, but he's already been knocked out once with a concussion this year. So now you're down another scholarship player. Scott Drew, for better or for worse, refuses to play anybody that's not on scholarship for the team. Like, and maybe you can't play walk-ons or anything in big-time college basketball.
Yeah,
but
who would you like to see playing?
No, I just think, and maybe Asamoah got banged up a little bit more, but like it felt like it took an act of God to get him into the game a couple of weeks ago when they were down to like 6 players. Like it felt like he would have just played Rob Wright off the bench. Yeah. And that's it. And then eventually they're like, all right, well, we have Asamoah. Like we gotta throw him in. And
is he not on scholarship? He's on scholarship.
He is on scholarship, but okay. I'm talking about like
you want to see Hubbard in there?
Yeah, probably. I mean, who is the guy that they got from now I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel. But who's the guy that they got from junior college that was like junior college player of the year or something like that? That's sitting.
Is he on the roster now?
Yeah, help me out here.
I'll help you out. Hold on. I think I know. Is it the other guy with the name that's tough to pronounce?
I don't know. And they also have an international player that they put on scholarship as well. But in his limited action, he has
Dubrovich.
Dubrovich. He hasn't looked.
Okay,
really
so
good.
Are we talking about? Let me see here. Omar Adegbola. Is that the guy you're talking about?
I believe so.
Yeah, because he's from Houston. That's why.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think that like we were talking before the break. I think that like they were really dependent on guys being healthy, and they were only going to go 8 deep at best this year. It seems like maybe Asamoah would come on and they would have a little bit deeper bench towards the middle of the year. They had to play him earlier than I think that they wanted to.
Yeah.
Back to your question, if they're not healthy, this is who they are.
Yeah.
If they're not healthy, they can get out to big leads against teams and hope to God that they hold on.
Yeah.
When they don't have legs in the back end of the second half.
And Celestine played for the first time since January 31st.
Right, but Langston Love,
December 31st.
Yeah, Langston Love still isn't playing. Now you have your starting point guard who you're banking a lot on, Jeremy Roach, who has been up and down this season, but it's still a veteran body that you need out there. He's out for who knows how long. Hopefully not, but like probably I would bet he is out a good while.
So I was thinking yesterday, and I definitely am a prisoner of the moment, like most fans. You know, as much as we want to keep this professional, and whether it's calling games or reporting on games, like at the end of the day, you get kind of wound up. That's why we're doing what we do. I think this just could be who they are as well, and I think this could be just one of those years for Baylor. Like every school, every so often has one of those years. This could be one of those years. It also could be, as I ride the fence here a little bit, one of those years where they get in the tournament as an 8 seed and they get to the Sweet 16. You know, you just don't.
Yeah.
You don't know because, you know, they were ranked 25th in the country last week. Obviously, that'll change after 2 losses. The Arizona loss, I totally understood, even though it was a blowout. This one, I don't understand. And it's an indication of probably, like we said, who they really are. There's plenty of time left, though, for this ship to get righted, especially in the Big 12, because you have opportunities every night to have signature wins.
I would say so. You have the opportunities are always there, but they're not going to pull off upsets against Kansas. They're not going to pull off upsets against Houston. Like we do the show every week. We watch the highlights
inside the 12.
Inside the 12, we produce it and do that show every week.
Yeah, we
know that like the top of the top in the Big 12 are world beaters, and you cannot go in there with 6.5, 7 players and expect to get super signature wins versus, quite frankly, like the number 1, 2, 3 team in the nation.
Yeah.
And Kansas got beat on their home floor for the first time in a millennia this year. By West Virginia, correct?
Yeah.
So like there's opportunities to get some of those players where there was, or players, some of those teams where there wasn't previously, but I just don't see this team doing it. They're getting out rebounded by like TCU.
Yeah.
They're getting outworked on the glass. They're allowing teams. It's really the getting the lead and then losing it is what is like. They don't have the ability to go on those runs and extend leads.
They gave up 42 points in the second half yesterday.
And they're just
That's
like getting
Baylor.
into the paint and doing like fadeaway jumpers, and people are hitting mid-range shots against them. I don't know what that is like defensively. I don't know what's going on there, but I think the platonic ideal of this team at the end of the day is sort of like and maybe is for Drew going forward, like a Tom Izzo, Michigan State sort of team where they were.
I still think, like to what you're saying, I still think there is a chance that this team like makes noise deep into the postseason.
Well, I mean, and that's what we saw from like Tom Izzo later in his career, where all of a sudden it's like, what is going on with Michigan State? And they're in the Final Four. And you're just like, as a 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
And it's just because they played tough basketball. Now, does this team have the ability to play that tough basketball? I don't know. We thought we had seen it after. I mean, you called the game, and I was there for the Cincinnati game. I was really impressed with them when they beat the brakes off of Cincinnati. But
and then they went, and then they
Arizona
beat Arizona State. That was like one of those ugly wins on the road. But these last two,
Arizona, I don't think Arizona State's very good. And then Arizona. Any team that they catch on the up and up is like going to get their best swing, and they haven't been able to counter a lot.
All right, I need to get your swing real quick on movies before we leave. I saw Baby Girl.
You did
on Friday? Yeah, I saw it with my girlfriend. Woo! I mean, it's funny, and you'll appreciate this. Being a former Baylor co-ed, there were like Baylor students, like girls in the theater, and the movie was so erotic, like. It was giggling because it was awkward, because it was like watching a movie with your kids,
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, it was a very sexual movie, but it wasn't like graphic, if that's like a relief for anybody. But it was there was sexual overtone, sexually charged movie. But Nicole Kidman turned in an amazing performance, and it was one of those things where Nicole Kidman is such a star in her own right. You never forget it's Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Maybe that's her star shining so big, or maybe she's just falls short of being like the elitist of elite actresses, right? Like she's not Meryl Streep, but she was amazing.
Well, she's not a chameleon.
Yes.
I was listening to a podcast the other day describe her and what her stardom's like. And like, maybe for my generation, she's famous to my generation, but even for like somebody my sister's age, like Gen Z, people may not know how famous Nicole Kidman is. But she's somehow been able to continually I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, like traverse that fame into still doing really interesting roles.
Yeah, and whether it's a part of an
projects.
ensemble cast or part of it, and that's why it was kind of cool to see her, be back cleanup in a movie. It'd been a while since I'd seen her like be the focal point of the whole film.
That's like the 5th older woman finds younger man movie that has come out this year, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Anne Hathaway did one.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's called The Idea of You. It's on Amazon. It's basically a Harry Styles fanfic.
But Royden can go deep in movies. I love it. What a couple more before, because we're up against it. Do we have a couple minutes, Scotty? We can do like a minute. Let's do our 1 minute. That's when you get no response. That means we got to wrap up.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so what's the best movie out there? The Trump movie. When does that come out? Is it already
on? It may be on Hulu, but I think you can get it on Amazon.
So I can watch the Trump movie with Sebastian Stan. Okay.
Yeah, you can watch that. He was nominated for like a Golden Globe for that.
Okay.
As well too. But I watched the one that he won the Golden Globe for, called A Different Man.
Yeah. How was that?
It was crazy to watch, but I found it really. Found it really good, really cool, and there's a reason he won a Golden Globe for it.
So there's a reason why I saw Baby Girl, and it's because, and I love Waco. I rest my head here. This is my hometown outside of like Villanova, Philadelphia. The goddamn September 5th movie wasn't playing anywhere in town.
No, they
give me the update. I was like, what's going on?
Waco has a problem with doing where it's like, and this is all over the country through middle America, where it's movies will come out in mass on the coast or larger cities within the state. Like I'm sure in Dallas, my friend saw it in Houston. Dex, who I do the podcast with, saw September 5th in Houston.
What did he say?
He said it was really, really great. He didn't know anything about the Munich.
Yeah, I cannot wait to
disaster.
See that.
Yeah, but he said it was like an hour and 30 minutes, and it was just like tight thriller. But the problem is that these movie studios were like, well, the market just isn't there for that movie. We're just not going to release it there. Like The Brutalist, which may win the Academy Award for Best Picture, is in 5 cities. And so the problem is that they don't think that the market is there to put the thing out wide until like after it gets award recognition or gets a little bit of buzz from word of mouth to like let it go. I think it took an act of God to put Everything Everywhere All at Once in theaters before it won the Academy Award a couple of years ago. So that's been a problem everywhere. So like I'm surprised Baby Girl came out.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty awesome. All right, so where can people find your podcast, Roy?
You can find it at One Take Podcast. It's really great SEO because we go right up against like First Take and everything else. But it's the number 1 take podcast. We dropped an episode about the movie Carry On with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman a couple of weeks ago. It sounds like I'm talking through a speak and spell because I did it on my iPad. Really great production value. But the next episode we're going to drop probably tomorrow is over Nosferatu, which we finally saw. So I get 1 day off and I go and I see Nosferatu. That's how my time is spent.
All right, Roy Ogletree. You can catch him on KWTX, most importantly, of course, the One Take Podcast. Scotty Swingler on the Wheels of Steel today. We'll be back tomorrow. We got to get out of here. The Pete Sousa Show is powered by the Rogue Media Network. I want you to go click on, I'd never ask you to do this, like and subscribe the podcast and subscribe on YouTube. And, all the interviews that maybe you missed this morning will be up there. You can find them all on the Pete Sousa Show YouTube page. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hinomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.